Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at my favorite semiconductor company. You guessed it, Nvidia, ticker NVDA. We can see, unfortunately, the stock is down roughly 3.3% today. And there are actually some great news that I want to discuss in today's episode that deal with the Chinese market and the company recently, some reports of their new AI chips for China. So we'll take a closer look at that. But first, we're going to start off with the price action. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So Nvidia, right? We can see the stock is down 3.3%. And some of you might be wondering, Jose, is this game over for Nvidia? Just kidding. I hope no one's wondering that, right? Because the stock is demolishing it in the past year. So we can see that right now, the overall tech market, especially in the semiconductor space, is really seeing some form of red day. We can see AMD is down a whopping 6.7%. We can see Intel is down roughly 5.5%. So Nvidia right now is holding a little bit better than some of its competitors. So we did hear reports that Nvidia's H20 AI GPU for China to be mass produced in Q2 of 2024, full compliance with US policies. And here are some of the AI GPUs that are coming out to China right now. There's going to be the HGX H200, which is going to allow data centers to kind of work on that interconnect that NVIDIA has, right, with their DGX platform and XGX platforms. Then we do see the L20 PCIe and the L2 PCIe. Based on the numbers and based on this report, it does seem like the H20 is 6 times slower than the H100, but it still retains the NVLink connection that is known for NVIDIA's product and also offers that multi-instance GPU functionality. So definitely a way weaker down version of the company's data center H100 GPUs, but we can see that it is kind of really focused mainly on the data center market in China. And for those that might not be familiar, we did hear on October 17th that there were numerous AI chips from NVIDIA that were unable to be exported to China due to kind of national security and AI regulation laws, right? So some of those chips were the A100, the A800, which were killing it for NVIDIA, the H100, the H800, the L40, the L40S, and the RTX 4090. We did even hear reports later on October, I believe October 22nd, that these export regulations that usually take about 3 months before they go into effect actually went into effect immediately, which kind of created a lot of volatility for Nvidia nonetheless. We can also see that the Chinese market for Nvidia is pretty big to some extent. If we take a closer look at their most recent earnings of Q3 of fiscal year of 2024, which came out on November, they did mention that the data center market is roughly 20 to 25% from China this past quarter. And one thing that they do mention is that they expect their sales to these destinations, mainly China, will decline significantly in the Q4 of fiscal 2024, though they believe the decline will be more than offset by strong growth in other regions. And one thing that we have heard about NVIDIA before, and actually, on this episode where I took a closer look at NVIDIA's AI secret growth strategy, here's the video for that. We are seeing that more countries are developing more sovereign AI. And that's why I do believe that even though China at this upcoming quarter is going to be weak, we are going to see that global demand still be pretty strong. But now that we have NVIDIA expected to release those chips in Q2 of 2024, obviously we're going to start to see a nice pickup of NVIDIA's revenue segment there. And before we go any further, guys, if you are enjoying the episode, please make sure to hit the thumbs up, the subscribe button. I'm really enjoying providing all the semiconductor AI content to you. So if you guys do that, and I do know that you guys are also enjoying it. Also, check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. This is not the first chip, right, that NVIDIA has recreated to bypass regulations to some extent. And we earlier this month in this last month in December, we started to hear that the United States was warning NVIDIA, urging them to stop redesigning chips for China. And that also created more negative sentiment to the overall stock. But just a few days after that, we did hear that the United States government was kind of softening the stance on NVIDIA selling AI GPUs to China. And instead, they were working with NVIDIA to make the perfect chip that they would be able to send out to China and not have this kind of cat and mouse type game of Nvidia remaking chips, and then the United States government recreating new regulations, and then the list continue, and that race continues to go over and over. So hopefully this H20 is the last we hear of regulations, and we continue to see strong growth in certain markets, even China, for their AI GPUs. Obviously, the strongest GPUs are going to be stay here in the United States and to United States allies, which is what a lot of these AI regulations, export restrictions and export regulations are meant for, right? To kind of continue to bring the safety of what this AI can build with national security. The other thing we did hear on late December 28th of 2023 that Nvidia recently launched their 4090D GPU, which is the top of the tier graphics card for the consumer market in China. We saw the 4090 did kind of was one that was banned from being shipped to China. So instead, Nvidia kind of downsized it and now is following regulations for their consumer AI chip. I do want to say this consumer is usually meant for gaming, but most people, or I want to say, are going to be AI startups, AI engineers, machine learning engineers that are going to purchase this and create kind of their own workstations out of it. Now, I want to take a closer look at valuation. We're starting a new year here. So Nvidia's PE ratio right now sitting at 63.57. Some of you might be saying, Jose, that's crazy high. This stock needs to drop dramatically. But if we take a closer look at PE ratio forward, which is the end of this quarter, which is the end of January, I believe, so a few weeks from now, Nvidia's PE ratio drops down to 39. So it doesn't look that expensive when you look at it like that. And now Nvidia's forward 1 year, which is the next 12 months, PE ratio is 24. So, like you guys know, Nvidia is my biggest position in my portfolio. It's also my number one semiconductor company, and with a PE ratio of 24.17, that's why. At the moment, I'm personally not purchasing directly because it is already a big position. But if we ever see any crazy, crazy pull downs, you guys know I'm gonna open up that wallet, blow the dust off, and maybe try to purchase some Nvidia stocks. Now, one of the main things is we can see revenue is expected to grow dramatically by the end of this year. Like I mentioned, in a few weeks, the stock is expected to have roughly $59 billion in revenue. If we take a closer look at next fiscal years, that's expected to jump all the way to 90 billion. And then 2 fiscal years is expected to jump to 108. So in just a 100% growth rate, if you look at it in that 2 years, that is insane in my opinion. And we can continue to see why Nvidia is one of the top AI plays, even if the stock does seem overvalued at current prices. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.